Good morning. Welcome to the Post Falls Urban Renewal Agency March 19th meeting. Can we have a commissioner roll call?
Clemensen?
Aye.
Leffel?
Aye.
Coles?
Aye.
Fleischman?
Here.
Crosby?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Parmentier?
Here.
All present.
Okay. Can you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on to ceremonies, appointments, and announcements.
I do not have any announcements, ceremonies, or appointments this morning, Madam Chair.
Okay. Next would be conflict disclosure. Do we have any conflicts? It looks like none. And we will move on to our consent calendar.
All right. Well, good morning, Commissioners. I'll see if, well, the consent calendar is visible on your tablets if you wish to go through it as I proceed. Item A in the consent calendar is the Commission meeting minutes, February 19th, 2026. Item B is the payables for this month, totaling $7,716.20. Item C is the bank activity report, which shows total funds in all accounts of $5,285,216.70, and accrued interest for the month of $12,193.05. Item D is the financial reports as of February 28th. Approval of the consent calendar will authorize a transfer of $7,716.20 to the First Interstate checking account for the monthly payables and $12,193.05 accrued interest to the general fund. Madam Chair, I'd answer any questions.
I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Approve. Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Clemensen?
Aye.
Leffel?
Aye.
Coles?
Aye.
Fleischman?
Aye.
Crosby?
Aye.
Rodriguez?
Aye.
Parmentier?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. Next, committee updates.
Finance and Policy Committee, Commissioner Rodriguez reviewed the current financials, which we just approved, and worked with Director Johns to get a good handle on our finances. Director Johns, in preparation for a meeting with the City Council that was held on the 17th, prepared a extensive forecast to enable us to discuss with Council our ability to finance the city's parking plan in downtown urban renewal district, and he and I presented a detailed description to the Council at their workshop. And that's all I have to report.
Great, thank you. District review, I am the committee chair. We just met right before this meeting. We just got a good update on some projects and healthy discussion, and we will be bringing all of those things to the rest of the commission in a future workshop.
Sounds good.
Communications, property, and personnel.
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Next is citizen comments. This section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission regarding an agency-related issue. Comments related to future public hearings should be held for that public hearing. Persons wishing to speak will have 5 minutes. And I don't see anyone. So we'll move on to unfinished business.
We do not have any unfinished business items at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay. Next, new business is Task Order 2601.
Correct. Task Order 26 20-01 was created by Welch. The document has been provided from the agency's consulting engineers for the purpose of engaging their services to perform a review of Beyond Green Incorporated's request for reimbursement of costs for public infrastructure improvements constructed in Zone C of the Post Falls Technology District. The action for consideration is the authorization of myself, Director Johns, to sign the task order directing Welch to proceed according to the specified terms.
Do we have any questions? Any thoughts?
Is there anything out of the ordinary with this particular task order?
Nothing per se out of the ordinary. Historically, the proposed costs associated with the task order have been lump sum. And this one is to be
10,000.
performed with by an hourly rate not to exceed. And so that's a little different. The consulting engineer's office contacted me and we discussed this. This is due to the volume, the scope of the project, and the volume of documentation involved. There was some concern about the review requiring effort that was unquantifiable in terms of their projection. They were concerned of submitting a lump sum amount that would be insufficient based upon how things may go with the review. And so they were wanting, of course, to protect their bottom line. And they also want to be able to, should things go extremely well, provide a benefit of a lower amount to the agency should things cost less than the maximum.
I think Welch Comer has suggested to us going on an hourly rate per person involved a couple of times with the idea that it might save some money. I think in this particular proponent, we've seen a number of submissions that Joe had to spend countless hours just understanding. And so I think this proposal is going to work best for everyone, because I think the engineers will have an equally difficult problem sorting out what the actual costs were and what the reasonable costs would be. So,
Okay, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. I just was thinking, I don't have a problem with this per se, but maybe it would behoove us in the future to refine our submittals or refine our process of having the proponents provide their submittals so that it makes the job less onerous for the engineers to review. I don't know if that's even possible, but I think it is.
I think historically we've had a few proponents who've done an outstanding job
Right.
organizing. We've also had at least two that I can recall, and possibly three proponents who just basically gave us a box of the receipts.
Right.
I think this particular proponent may fall in that latter category. And I can understand with the economic issues facing so many businesses that Welch Comer is trying to protect their downside
Right.
also.
Sure. Do you think it's possible for us to specify a format that if they meet that format, we can proceed? If not, you don't
That's a
get
good question. We can
reimbursement?
look into that.
We do have some example documentation that I provide to the participant whenever they are preparing a submittal. It's not a requirement. There are some specific items that are required or pieces of information that are required to be included within a submittal. Those include a specific letter requesting, as well as clear an index of the costs, and then, of course, the clear documented evidence, the invoices. In this particular case, I did my best to guide them in what they did provide, but in terms of the scope of the project and how the project proceeds and when they choose to seek reimbursement. In the past, I know there's been participants who have phased their developments or the construction in such a way that the reimbursements could come in smaller chunks, so to speak, as phased requests. That's, in hindsight, or from my perspective, appears to have been effective. This snowballed in such a way as became a rather large reimbursement submittal, and therefore the apparent cost for the review is also significantly larger than what we've seen in the past. But Commissioner Crosby is entirely correct in that we've seen both in the past, and it is also appears to be tied to their experience in how many times they have submitted for urban renewal reimbursement. They learn as they go what becomes most efficient and most effective.
Well,
A year or so ago, Finance Committee proposed an addition to policy number 16, which we adopted, I think, a year or so ago, which basically is a fail-safe, and basically says if you are a proponent and you submit applications and the engineering costs or the legal costs involved take more than 115% of what we've budgeted, we will bill you, and that has the same priority as our administrative fee. So, if this is an excessive amount, or it ends up being an excessive amount, we have the right to recover that from the next tax increment available from that district.
you think this item would be worthy of a workshop with our engineer to discuss maybe establishing some protocols for reimbursement? Or do you think we're covered well enough?
We could certainly do
I
that.
could certainly question our consulting.
I just,
See-
if they know up front that if you're wanting to use urban renewal funding, this is the criteria you need to submit to us, and do the bulk of the work so that we don't have to try to put it all together.
Yeah, I mean, we've had those proponents that have become a problem, or those proponents that we've met with a number of times. We've explained it, we've laid it out, and they've ignored it. So,
Right.
You were in city planning long enough to know, if you tell a guy what he has to submit and he keeps coming in with crap,
Well,
then you have to keep
Yeah.
turning him down.
Or he doesn't get a check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is this the first time that we've done a task order on this particular property? Or have we done a task order on this particular property before?
This is basically the first request for reimbursement in this district.
Okay.
It's come in multiple forms, multiple times, but it's finally.
But we didn't do a task order on the multiple times that it's come in.
Correct.
Yeah, we kept rejecting the submission and telling them what we needed, and they kept waiting and then redoing it and adding more. So this is the first round that we've actually gotten to the point where Joe spent a considerable amount of time going through it to the point where he feels it's organized enough to give to the engineer. And
That's
that
correct.
took you hours and hours and hours and hours.
It's been a little bit of time, but that's the job.
Well, it shouldn't be. It should be their job, the way I look at it, for the most part.
Well, what I've considered in this particular instance is that a little bit of prevention on my part in terms of helping the proponent prepare their documentation will hopefully benefit on the back end with the consulting engineer's review.
Good enough.
I make a motion that we approve the task order 2601.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote?
Commissioner Coles,
Aye.
Rodriguez,
Aye.
Parmentier,
Aye.
Clemensen,
Aye.
Fleischman,
Aye.
Leffel,
Aye.
Crosby.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to staff reports and updates.
Commissioners, I do have a few items here. A public records request from Roberts Freeborn attorneys for information related to the Post Falls Technology district has been received by the agency. Counselor Bredesen has been informed of the requested records, and the requested records have been compiled but not yet provided. The Urban Renewal Agency's 2025 annual report was presented to the City Council.
Who does the attorney represent?
They are not specifically stating in their public records request who they are representing, but essentially the request comes down to files, contracts, agreements, reimbursements related to Post Falls Technology District, particularly GVD Partners, Metallist Development Incorporated, Riverbend Commerce Park, Jacqueline Land Company, or Jacqueline Commercial Park.
Counsel, doesn't the requesting counsel have to advise who his client is?
No, they do not. Yeah, they don't have to reveal that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the 2025 annual report was presented Tuesday evening to the City Council. The only responses came from Councilor Luca, who asked for a clarification on the Commission's resolutions that denied Kootenai County Fire Rescue and the Kootenai County Ambulance District from withdrawing from our active urban renewal districts. And then Councilor Stiegleiter expressed her appreciation for the Urban Renewal Commission's work. Post Falls City staff held a pre-City Council meeting workshop on Tuesday evening. They proposed a downtown LID for the purpose of constructing a scaled-down version of parking and frontage improvements sooner rather than later. Mayor Westland would like to facilitate the improvements to accelerate the redevelopment of the downtown area. The proposed improvements would provide 588 angled and parallel parking stalls, together with a connected sidewalk network for pedestrians. The estimated project costs would result in a direct expense to property owners ranging from $7,000 to $13,000 per ownership based upon right-of-way frontage amounts. In general, the City Council voiced opposition to the LID proposal as presented. However, consideration may be given towards seeking a voter-approved bond issue to provide the necessary funding. And then urban renewal-based funding may be an option after current and anticipated future district obligations have been met. That was also the presentation that Commissioner Crosby earlier addressed with Finance and Policy Report. This year's legislative session includes several bills related to urban renewal. House Bill 670 is in process and proposes to amend Section 50-2906 of Idaho Code. Its intent is to clarify when an agency can or cannot deny a fire protection district's request to withdraw from an urban renewal district, as allowed by last year's passage of House Bill 436. And then there are three bills indirectly related to urban renewal. House Bill 551, signed by the governor on March 11th, revised Section 63-301A, part of the Idaho Code on Revenue and Taxation. It governs the percentage of new construction roll value that is taxable by a fire protection district or ambulance district after they withdraw from an urban renewal district. And then House Bill 506 and 751 are in process and relate to revisions of the state taxation anticipated revenue program, also known as the STARS program. STARS was a program that was utilized with the construction of the Beck Road interchange. That allows developers to receive a rebate of sales tax for certain transportation improvements. House Bill 506 would increase the minimum qualifying project total from $6 million to $10 million, and the maximum from $35 million to $100 million. Whereas House Bill 751 would decrease the minimum qualifying project total from $6 million to $5 million, while increasing the maximum from $35 million to $100 million. Commissioner Crosby also requested for Councilor Bredesen to address or just be prepared to answer any questions. So if you have any questions or discussion on this.
I do on the first proposed legislation you mentioned, which changed the circumstances of the fire EMS district withdrawing. What's the nature of those changes?
So in determining whether one of those districts can withdraw, the agency needs to determine what obligations, outstanding bonds, and indebtedness it has.
That the requesting district has, or the
Oh,
URD?
that the agency has regarding that district. And the contract, this bill requires contractual obligations to be in writing, which really isn't a big deal because they already are, usually. So it's in the Senate 14th Order for Amendment, which Jerry Mason used to always say that's where bad bills go to die. So I don't know if anything's even going to happen with this, so.
Yeah, you'll recall that the original legislation said that if a urban renewal district was created and there was no outstanding obligations, that the fire district and the ambulance district could withdraw. And we had a proposal from the fire district, and we showed them that we had a contractual requirement. And this just codifies that. My question for council is, I'm looking at 751 and 670. They were both introduced by Representative Monks, and they seem to be contradicting one another. One increases the minimum, the other one decreases the minimum. Is that just sort of an afterthought on the part of Representative Monks?
Are you referring to 506 and 751?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 751 is the new version of 506. And 751 is passed the House and the Senate.
Okay.
506 is it's been proposed, but nothing's been done on it. So I view 751 as superseding 506 because that's the one they moved forward with. But it looks like 751 is going to become law as long as the governor signs it. So that's I think the current version of the proposal.
Yeah, that just basically expands the use of the STAR legislation. Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments? Okay. Are we good to move on? Okay.
I did have one other question for council or for Joe. Do we have a policy with regard to recovering the cost of responding to Freedom of Information Acts? Because I know colleges do, other governmental agencies do. Basically, you incur costs in creating the documents that are being requested.
We have adopted a
Do you
fee
have that?
schedule, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay. Moving on. Commissioner comments. Do we have any commissioner comments? No?
I might have one.
Okay.
Mayor Westland has a mayoral advisory committee, and it was brought up to maybe, just so you know, in the background, they're trying to actively engage the proponent of Pleasant View and see if they want to, or if they can, encourage them to come over here as they had planned. And they were wondering if new updates to Washington state income state tax law might further influence their decision. So, there was one of the members that had a personal connection there, so they were going to reach out.
This is the proponent that was proposing to do
The
a
main
trucking
yes.
facility with rail conversions. Excellent, that'd be great.
But of course, the conversation comes up on, we're so far into the district and, how to proceed with that in the best
Right.
way.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other commissioner comments? Chairman comments? I have none. And I think that would be it. So I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We're adjourned.